What's up, everyone? Welcome back to the Daily Draft, where we're drafting best ball teams every day on DraftKings, maybe some other sites, who knows? But for now, we are doing DraftKings. We got a special guest for this one. I'm excited for my man, Bobby Wow. What would Bobby Wow do? Fade the chalk. Let me get Bobby in here. Wait a minute. Switch up the... See, this is what happens, Bobby, when we
man, here I go.
There we go. When you come in after the start, I got to figure out my screen. So there we go. We got Bobby Wow. That's all right. What's up, my man? How you been?
Good. Yeah, I've been watching these shows. Honestly, it's been giving me the itch. I've been wanting football to start, man. It feels like it's here. When the draft comes, it's like, okay, we need football to get here, and it needs to be here now. I'm so pumped. All the rookies, all the contributions we're going to see from the rookies this season. The Bears, I love what the Bears did. So yeah, I'm doing good, man. Doing good. Really excited for football.
This is such a big year for the Bears. We got a lot to talk about. A lot of news has been coming out in the fantasy space. We had some interesting trades that I think affect rankings. But the Bears are a team, since I have you here, the Bears are a team that really might be undergoing a transformation this year. Aside from the coaching staff upgrades, I think it's really interesting that they went and picked up a wide receiver in round 2. I don't know that speaks highly of like their thoughts on Rome Odunze. I think it's interesting that they picked up Loveland in round 1, and now they have this sort of, Lions clone thing going on.
Yeah, they do.
With the quality. I mean, could do a lot worse than cloning that. And Bobby, wow, the thing I think the weirdest about the Bears, and this is the part I still cannot wrap my mind around it, is what is going on at the running back position there?
I think the Bears are they're putting themselves in a position to succeed with depth. I think with Ryan Poles, one of the questions has been, can we build a good team, but can we also build a deep team? And I think, look, the Bears aren't sold on DeAndre Swift, rightfully so. They're not sold on Roschon Johnson, rightfully so. But we've yet to see those guys with a good offensive line as well. I think now that we have the offensive line pieces in place, I do think we see a much better year from Swift and Johnson. But they drafted Kyle, I think, in the 7th round. And, he's another guy that, could come in and maybe shake things up a little bit. But I think what you're going to see primarily is what you see across the league, where you get a good offensive line in place. And, there are several different guys that could succeed behind that in the backfield. I think the Bears are set up fine to do just that.
I think a lot of people are counting on Caleb Williams to take a big step forward this year. We'll see if that happens. Tough to judge a kid like that on year 1. I mean, it's funny, but you see a Herbert come in the league and kind of tear it up year 1, but other players really take a couple of years to marinate. And so we have this expectation now Bryce Young looked a little better towards the end of year 2. We have this expectation now that quarterbacks will come in and just, and of course, Jaden Daniels looks like a 10-year vet in year 1. So,
it's tough to say. And it's funny because there's ultimatums being put up, right? Like in the same breath, I've seen, this is a make or break year for Caleb Williams, but also it's a make or break year for Trevor Lawrence. Okay, well, Trevor Lawrence, he's entering his 5th season now. And yeah, for him, I could totally see that. Caleb, he's got to look better. Sure. The pieces are there now. We got to see a jump from him, but it's not like he needs to go out and win a Super Bowl. So
no, you have to see something.
I'm bullshit optimistic.
I do think it's make or break for T-Law, though, because come on, bro, you have all the weapons now. You can't, and the coaching staff. There's no excuses for Trevor anymore. A couple of interesting things are happening around the league, and I want to talk about them as we hit the enter button here. We're going to do this draft together. You're going to help me out. But the trade of George Pickens to Dallas is really interesting because it opens up a couple things, right? First, for me, I love the landing spot for Pickens. I think you could not ask for a better spot. George Pickens is a number 2. He should be second fiddle to someone like CeeDee Lamb. So I think that's going to work out really nicely. And Dallas needs him, right? For best ball purposes, I really like George Pickens now at his ADP, but also Roman Wilson, a random person that you've never heard of, is now the WR2 for the Steelers and makes for an interesting last couple rounds best ball pick. You can't even find him on the ADP. Like, look for it. You can't even find him.
Roman Wilson, that's a name.
You'll see, Bobby Wow. When you get into rounds 18, 19, 20, you're looking for anything. Anybody with a pulse is,
oh yeah,
and any upside is winning for you there. I also think it sets up. So here's an interesting thing that I was thinking about, talking to a friend of mine about this, and he got me kind of thinking, DK Metcalf could be really interesting if, like, right now he looks like gross because Mason Rudolph looks like the quarterback for the Steelers. But if they sign Aaron Rodgers like I kind of expect them to, does that make DK Metcalf like Devontae Adams 2.0? Who else is Rodgers going to throw to? Mason, the aforementioned Roman Wilson? I don't know about that. Yeah, I think that's Steelers,
I think if Rodgers does sign, that does make DK interesting. I still think Calvin Austin probably has the edge over Roman Wilson if I just, knowing him and Tomlin and what he's done on offense. But like you said, if Rodgers isn't there, how do you take even DK? How do you take any of those guys? It's really gross with Rudolph, and then you got Skylar Thompson. They drafted Will Howard. I mean, ugh.
It's gross. Well, here's the thing. That's what early best ball is all about, Bobby Wow. Like, we need to take some risks now.
Anticipate. Yes.
Yeah, that's what we're doing here. This is early best ball. Like, you're not.
I love it.
I don't need to. Yeah, we're. What happens if Rodgers does sign? Where does where does Metcalf go? Is he going up 10 spots? Well, if I drafted him in round 5 and he starts going in round 3, I have an edge on those people who took him in round 5 because I have 2 better players. So
let me toss one more out as you get this loaded up. Another guy. We were talking about the Bears. Cole Kmet is a guy that you can get toward the very end of the draft. The Bears drafted Loveland. Look, the Bears drafted Loveland. He's going to be an absolute stud. But we can't forget about Cole Kmet's production before the offensive coordinator last season just decided he's not going to be part of the offense. We will see both tight ends very active this season, and I think Cole Kmet gets back to what he was doing the previous year. So again, we're talking about like guys with life, like there's a pulse there, and with Cole Kmet, I think you're looking at he's like 250 ADP or something crazy like that. So
what the biggest thing I can argue for Cole Kmet is that you'll be the only person in the whole damn tournament that has Cole Kmet on it. So, if you want to get like a one-off, like crazy shot, you're probably the only person. You know how like in normal DFS contests where like that rando is 1.1% owned, and you're like, who has him? And they win. You'd be that guy with Cole Kmet in the.
You're probably right.
The play act. All right, so I just hit the go button, Bobby Wow, and we are a go. Of course, actually, I probably should have hit it when we started the stream because we're 1 of 12. So now I'm kind of thinking we're gonna have to. We're gonna have to.
Well, the other day I was watching, you hit it, and then boom, it was like you went live, and then boom, the draft started. So you know what?
You literally never know what's gonna happen. But a couple other interesting sort of news items from this week. We have teams kind of getting settled in. We're starting to get a feel for what some of these backfields are going to look like. And, I was just doing my rankings, and I was looking at, and I really want your opinion on this. I was looking at Breece Hall, and I was trying to figure out what to do with Breece Hall. He's been dropping terribly. And now, I didn't like the way the coaching staff used him last year. They were definitely putting him out, taking him out of the game at the goal line, which was just crazy weird. And Braylon Allen coming in.
That was weird.
But now it's a whole new coaching staff. I don't know what the story is. I really like him where he's at, but I don't know. I feel like I'm a little bit biased because I'm a Jets guy.
See, that's why part of why I came on is to ask you about the Jets and this whole situation, because the other wrench in the plans is Justin Fields at quarterback, right? You've got a guy, he's going to start, right? Justin Fields, it's not going to be Tyrod.
No. Justin Fields, they're giving Justin Fields a chance to see if he can
He's got
be
the reins.
an NFL quarterback. So you know Justin Fields really well from. So here's my take on Justin Fields.
Yeah.
I watched him in Chicago hone in on the WR1 DJ Moore, send him 8 to 12 targets per game. Just the WR1, because Fields does not have much ability to check down off of his primary target. Right? It's just not in his. Oh, there we go. That was pretty quick. His range of outcomes. So to me, I actually really like Garrett Wilson. I think Garrett Wilson is one of the more undervalued players. No one likes Justin Fields' arm, and I get it, but he can produce one really quality producing wide receiver, I think. So I like Garrett Wilson with him.
Yeah, I think. Oh, look, there's another DFS Army guy in there too.
There we go. Oh, really? Oh, shit. Soups is in there. Oh, man. Uh-oh. Soups is here in the chat.
Wow. Lord have mercy. Look, I think, Justin, the thing about Justin, people want to knock his arm. He's got a strong arm. He's got a good arm. And like you said, he will pepper the primary wide receiver. And the reality is there's no one else. There's no one else in New York right now anyway. He's not going to be throwing the ball to Alan Lazard or Josh Reynolds. So
you got Mason Taylor, the new tight end, but I like him late.
Taylor, yeah, he'll be fun. I think he's an interesting dart throw, but Garrett Wilson, like you said, I think he's being undervalued a little bit here. I do like Wilson. We're going to see that 10, 12 target a game continue that we've seen in the past. So for him, it's a thumbs up for me. Breece Hall really is a question mark, though. Not only because of last season, the goal line situation. I do think the coaching staff feels a little bit. They feel a little bit more in tune with what's going on this season. I never really got that last season from the Jets coaching staff. I haven't felt that in a while, but I'm not a fan. But I do think Justin Fields, he is a vulture, man. He is going to take the ball near the goal line, whether Breece Hall is in or not. So we're going to see him have his fair share of rushing touchdowns too. Assuming
I had Seslowski on the show the other day. He's a big fan of Justin Fields. Like, he's got Justin Fields ranked like 6 at the QB position this year, which I don't necessarily agree with, but I thought it was interesting. And I don't like to poo-poo those opinions too hard, but yeah, right. He's got Justin Fields as a really high ranking pick. Especially here we go. We're on the board, Bobby.
Oh, here we go. My gosh. Yeah. When Says has a strong opinion.
I'm actually kind of glad this worked out pretty good. Yeah, Soups is here in the chat with us. At the very least, one of these guys.
That is hilarious.
Yeah, Bob, we might be in here as well. So at least in our case, we're drafting really far away from the people that might be paying attention. So, we're not going to be the words we're saying might not affect us too poorly here as we do this draft.
Well, we're snaking though. So we're going to snake right back into them. So we got
no, we'll be far away from those guys the whole time. We'll be good.
Okay.
Yeah, we'll be far away from those guys the whole time. So the draft starts out as usual. This is the standard start for these drafts, Bobby Wow. And the first couple rounds kind of go a certain way, right? There's not that much you're going to veer off. We're looking at 112-2-1. We're going to be looking at names like Brian Thomas Jr., Derrick Henry,
CMC,
McCaffrey. I don't have any shares of McCaffrey yet. Oh, should I do it for this one? Is this the McCaffrey draft?
You can't fade McCaffrey. You can't fade McCaffrey this season. I'm sorry.
Make sure.
And that's coming from me.
See, if I'm taking McCaffrey, we're taking Garendo. Like, I will make sure to get Garendo later in this draft. I think that's a must. No,
I'm here to just like mess with all your biases going in. Okay, so I heard you talking about people on the last couple shows. I have no CMC. I have no interest. Who else? I have no interest in Nate Chan. I think is a guy you mentioned. There are a couple guys. So I'm here to I'm here to ruffle the feathers a little bit. I do think CMC is a lot. Don't full fade CMC. I'm not saying make him the target here, but man, if he is healthy enough, and I really think it sounds like he will be.
We know what Christian McCaffrey, a healthy CMC, does. He gives you 25 plus points a game. He's a monster. He's a GOAT.
Let me ask you this as your turn's kind of coming up here. What does Travis Hunter do for Brian Thomas? Does that change anything? Does that change your opinion in any way?
It hurts It hurts BTJ a little bit, right? He was the only game in town for that team last year. And, do we know if that team can support two studs? I don't know. So it looks like, Amon-Ra went, and this will be our chance. So everybody's saying you need a Christian McCaffrey draft. We're going to do it.
To me, it's CMC or maybe, CMC or Ladd here.
I'm definitely taking CMC. I'm just kind of slow rolling it because we got to make 2 picks in a row. So I'm going to grab McCaffrey here. And again, I'm just going to try to remember to take Garendo later. I like having that handcuff. I don't normally handcuff.
Star on him.
Yeah, I don't normally handcuff, by the way, running backs in this format. But for pick 2, I'm looking at Bowers. Maybe BTJ. I mean, I could go Derrick Henry and just double tap.
I would say BTJ. I would say BTJ or Ladd. BTJ or McConkey. I kind of like McConkey.
You know what? Ladd was my guy last year. They haven't done anything at wide receiver on that team to help it.
And who they got even better as the year went on. Ladd looks so good, man.
Bobby, wow. You know what they added in the Chargers at wide receiver?
Okay, I thought you were going to just talk about Quentin Johnson. Who did they add?
You remember a player? Okay, Aaron Rodgers throws up a floater, so slow,
no way,
like a feather coming down in the air. Mike Williams, wide open. It's gonna happen, and he falls. Remember that? And he fell. Mike Williams back on the Chargers.
Yeah, I'd call it more of a duck than a feather of what Rodgers threw. But Mikey Williams gets paid to catch the ball, so you know what? You got to catch it. Hey, before we forget, get Garendo start up so we don't.
Get a star going. You got to scroll. We're gonna
type it in. There's a little search box up there.
Oh, there we go. All right, we're just gonna star him and remember him for later. So I think that's, if I'm gonna take Christian McCaffrey, I do think that's the play. I don't normally like to do too much. Like handcuffing running backs for me is more something I like to do in leagues rather than best ball tournaments where, hey, if my number 1 pick fails, I'm probably not winning this tournament, right? Like if he's a complete fail, you're normally not going to win the tournament anyway. So there's not that much. There's less benefit, I think, to handcuffing in this format. McCaffrey married a Rhode Island girl. Oh boy.
Oh, that would have been good to know about 2 minutes ago.
Yeah. Wait, what? Is it that model that he was dating, the twin with Cole Beasley's girlfriend? Is that Olivia Culpo or something like that? I don't. Beasley, I'm not up on the. What's that?
I said Cole Beasley. Wow, that's a name.
Cole Beasley was like dating the twin. McCaffrey and Cole Beasley were dating twin like Instagram influencers or something like that. I don't know. I'm not in the. I don't even have Instagram. Bobby, I don't even have Instagram.
You got to look, we only have 3 months till NFL, 3.5 months. You better get in on that. You're the one that freshens the streams up with your knowledge.
I do. I got to get up on some of these things.
The gossip.
Who got Trey Harris went to the Chargers? No. Trey Harris was with Chargers? I thought they got Besh. Wait a minute. Besh is okay. I got it all confused in my head. Yes. Trey Harris.
Besh is the Raiders, I think.
Besh is Raiders. Trey Harris on the Chargers. That's right. I don't know why you know what? The Raiders, the LA, they're all like, I smoke a little too much weed. So anyway, let's get back to this draft here and take a look at what's going on the draft board. So we got our DFS Army guys here in a sandwich at the 1 and 2. I don't know. So this is a really interesting little sandwich. Oh, Chase Brown. So Soups has been watching these streams and he knows my love for Chase Brown is unending.
Love Chase too. Yes.
I love he is undervalued on these draft. I just ranked him and he will, for me, be going in round 2. There's Garrett Wilson.
I need to go back and find it
early.
You all laughed at me last season. I told you Chase Brown, ILLINI, was going to be a stud. He was going to be the starting back. You laughed me off. Yeah, now we love him.
Chase Brown was the league winner last year, and no one respects him. He's on the Bengals. Okay, that's an offense that puts up 30 points a week. And give me the running back who's getting all the touches on a team scoring 30 every week. That is something I want a piece of.
And he's effectively the WR3 too. That's the other beautiful part of it.
Yeah, I love Chase Brown. I love him in this format. And I like that he went ahead of Bucky. I love Bucky as well, but I think Brown belongs there ahead of him. I think Kyron Williams in Bob We Must was probably a reach there at 211. I would have had both Brown and Irving ahead of Kyron. But that being said, this draft is going pretty chalk right now. So let's take a look. We're about to have 2 picks coming up, and our team now is balanced with a running back and a wide receiver. So we're looking at the board here. Oh yeah, okay. So I have some
Tyreek Hill,
possibilities.
another guy you don't like, correct?
Yeah, talk to me. Which one? Oh, Tyreek Hill.
No, I said he's another guy you don't like, right? Yep.
No, he's a no for me, dog.
I'm with you on that one.
A couple of names I like here at the turn potentially. I love James Cook. I think he's best ball gold. That's a guy you want in best ball leagues, right? He does not always get a ton of touches, but when he seems to pop for 30 plus points, like Achane style, very frequently, and I love that. And he's on a team that's awesome, and I love that. Devontae Adams, I think, is, for me, an upside guy, right? He's a guy that, if things go a certain way, is Cooper Kupp 2.0 with the Rams. I mean,
yeah, the big question mark for me with Adams is just, is Puka going to impact him negatively enough to keep him from being, one of those elite scoring guys? I feel like Adams hasn't been paired up with another true stud like this.
You know what, Bobby? Well, if Puka wasn't there, Adams would be like going at the end of round 1. So that's why we're getting the discount on him here. So I'm going to go Adams here, and I'm going to go a little non-traditional, I think, with this next pick, and take our luxury quarterback right now, Jaden Daniels, and I'm going to give you...
Yeah.
So here's my reasoning. When I take a Daniels, he does not need to necessarily be stacked, which is cool, although we might stack him with the tight end or something. But more importantly, when I take Daniels, now I don't need to worry about quarterback until like the last couple names. So from here, I'm so confident in Daniels' week-to-week 20-plus point capabilities that I don't feel like, I need, some other mid-level quarterback on this team. Could have waited. I think QB decision, pretty huge in these things, more so not because of the quarterback himself, but where you take them, the opportunity cost that you give up, right? I could have taken a quality running back or wide receiver. That those will be fewer as we go on here.
Yeah, look, I like Mixon was a guy in that range I would have considered. I like him a lot again, but he's a guy that could easily fail. I saw Mike Evans, similar situation. They just brought in the wide receiver from Ohio State. He's another year older. Baker, can he sustain what he's done? What he's been doing? Again, not a guy that I'm sold on. So I like the Daniels pick there. I think you took the best available to you.
Yeah, Mike Evans, I don't like, Bobby. Wow.
Guy's not surprised by that. Rashee Rice, again, kind of a question mark for me. I don't think the legal trouble is necessarily going to be there for him, but can he come back on the field and step in right in where he left off? We had Xavier Worthy kind of showing up toward the end of the season, where him and Mahomes had some chemistry. So I don't know. I all that to say, I think the Daniels pick there is probably what I would have done.
Yeah, I like Rice, but you're right. The Chiefs now have, really, I would say, 3 competent wide receivers between Rice, Xavier Worthy, and listen, Hollywood Brown's still there, and they like him. So they're going to have 3 guys on the field. I don't know that we're going to see those 12 target games for Rice, especially if the Chiefs continue to play the way they've been playing. There goes DJ Moore. I love that pick as well. Listen, DJ Moore was great last year. He's getting his 8 targets a game. No problem. No worries.
And look, DJ Moore, to me, I think his season will be better this season than last season. Keenan Allen was a veteran stud wide receiver presence on the Bears that I think did limit DJ Moore last season. It didn't limit his targets, but it limited his upside a little bit for the most part. Now we've got two young bucks. You got Rome, you've got Burden. And I think Rome is still getting comfortable. You're going to see Burden. There's going to be a learning curve there as well. So, I think DJ is, again, he's the king of the offense, and there's no veteran wide receiver to kind of spell his targets this season like Keenan did. So I love DJ.
Do you think that them drafting Burden says something about how they feel about Rome Odunze?
I don't. No, I don't. I think Rome is the clear-cut number 2.
Really?
I think the Bears like what they saw from Rome toward the end of last season. Him and Caleb, again, I probably know this just because I watched every snap of the Bears and I'm, way too big of a fan. But anytime Caleb needed to make a big throw, he didn't go to DJ. He wasn't going to Keenan. He was going to Rome. You look at, there were 3 or 4 fourth downs, like toward the end of games at last season, where it was a back shoulder fade to Rome Odunze. And, Caleb felt most comfortable going there. So, I do think Rome is still that guy. He's the number 2 guy for them. I think that's clear. Until otherwise.
I was not super impressed by Rome Odunze last year. But
again, you slot him behind DJ Moore and Keenan Allen in an anemic offense, with a awful coach and coordinator.
Yeah.
I just think, we saw the tip of the iceberg.
Lots of potential reasons why. Yeah, I'll give it to you. Lots of potential reasons why things went weird last year. Lots of reasons why things could have went weird for Rome Odunze, but he'll need to turn that around. Like if he looks the same this year as last year, that's a real problem. Like he was dropping.
Oh, sure. Agreed.
Mistakes. There were definite rookie mistakes. I want to see better concentration. I need to see more efficiency. I mean, I think he had a 50% catch rate. It was bad, but the whole team was gross. So, hey, let's give him a shot to turn around. Here's an interesting guy. I want to talk about George Kittle for a second. I don't normally like to call George Kittle a premier pick because he's very up and down. It needs injuries and all this. But George Kittle this year, I have a feeling like of all of the veteran tight ends, George Kittle could elevate a little bit this year, mostly because it feels like it was Deebo Samuel a lot that was blocking his, that was in the same spot on the field as what he does. And when he was there, it kind of he didn't do enough. But, I have some, let's say, hopes for George Kittle to see maybe a year, something better out of him than we've seen. There goes Ted McMillan. So another rookie off the board. Cortland Sutton. Whoa. All right. Just keeping it chalk here. So we're on the turn here.
I go Deebo here. I'm going Deebo Samuel.
Really?
You got a good chance here to pair him up with Jaden Daniels.
Stack?
I know we don't need a stack, but man, I feel like this landed in our lap really nicely. I think Deebo turns into a major weapon for Washington.
It's funny. I'll have 0 shares of Deebo outside of he's not a guy that I've been taking. So now I'm kind of excited that you're here to gas me up to do that. We've got 3 wide receivers. I need another running back. I think we got to go with Henderson here.
Yeah.
No, I don't want Judkins losing team. Yeah, I got to do it. So I'm going to tell you why I didn't go Judkins.
Because you don't like the Browns. You don't want a running back on a garbage team.
Yeah,
right?
They stink, man. They stink. I don't want
to. And that's fair. I think that's very fair. I almost would have waited another round for running back. I think you can get a guy like Tracy, like Pacheco. I think potential bounce back here for Pacheco. Obviously, I think he's going to have a chance to regain the backfield again. Will he? Who knows? But I think he's going to get another shot at it. Swift, look, people are down on DeAndre Swift, which is fine. I get it. Not his best season last season, but with a really solid offensive line, I think this changes things. And he is the unquestioned RB1 for the Bears. He will still be that primary back. So I don't sleep on DeAndre Swift is all I'm going to say.
You know what's interesting about Swift? I'm a hater, as big of a hater as anybody on Swift, because I've had him in my dynasty.
And rightfully so. Right? There's a lot of reasons to be that way.
Well, if you draft somebody in the first round in dynasty and now he's in year 6 and he's never had a good season for you, the hate is due. right?
His season, I feel like his last season in Philly was phenomenal, was it not?
It wasn't. He's never had a phenomenal. He's had
Okay.
acceptable games throughout the course of a career. He's never had like a great season, and he's coming into year 6. With that being said, his volume was great with the Bears. If you just go through it and you say, oh, 20 carries, couple of targets, 12 carries, 5 targets, the volume numbers are fine. Like even last year, he should have been good. I played him a lot last year, and he had a little stretch of, I think there was this little stretch where he did really well, and it was kind of awesome. And then he kind of reverted back to classic versions of himself, no touchdowns and all of that. But maybe some of that was bad team related too. Like this team stunk last year, so they weren't scoring touchdowns, and he wasn't getting any. But the volume was there. Kind of reminds me of Chuba Hubbard. Like maybe he has this late career sort of like couple good years.
I can't get on board the Chuba train. I'm sorry, I just can't do it.
Well, I'm not saying Chuba. By the way, for all the Chuba hate that you want to dole out, Jonathan Brooks has been ruled out for the year. Done.
I did not know that. Oh, that's the worst news I've heard in a long time.
He is ruled out for I already knew he wasn't going to play this year based on the injury, but now we know for sure he will not touch the field in 2025. It is Chuba's backfield with the Dallas guy whose name I can
Chalky
never.
Chuba. Chalky Chuba with Rico, Uncle Rico.
Yeah, Rico.
Oh,
jeez.
Yeah. You know what? My bold prediction there is that we see by week 8, we see Trevor Etienne as the starting running back in the Carolina backfield
for the Panthers.
Yes,
could be. That's very bold. But as of right now, Chalky Chuba has the role. Rico Arikaka Dowdle is his backup. Now, Rico Dowdle's a real backup. I think he's going to, I think we're going to see 60% of the carries, Chuba, which isn't that great. But you get him at discount. How about, all right.
We need Chuba with a guaranteed 30 touches if I'm touching him. I just sized the chat. I lost it. I have lost it. I just can't do Chuba. I'm sorry.
Let's take a quick gander at the draft itself. There's Addison. Love that pick. Love that pick, really. Calvin Ridley goes. Mahomes, right? Mahomes not a difference maker at QB last year, and I don't know that I need to luxury pick him that early. There goes Rome with Dunze. George Pickens.
Talk to me about Olave, because I don't think you like him, right?
I hate Olave. Who's the quarterback? All right, this is crazy. All right, Dynasty trade. Would you trade Barkley and the 1.07 for Bijan? I'm on the competing bubble. I won in 2023, single QB. Barkley is my best RB. No,
not even. I wouldn't trade Barkley for Bijan straight up.
Listen, here's exactly what I would do. Yeah. First, no, I wouldn't do that, and here's why. Barkley is a stud. If I feel like my team's not competing, I'm trading Barkley straight up for 2. Actually, I'm not giving the 107. I want to give Barkley straight up for Bijan in that scenario to just get a little younger there. So effectively, Barkley is worth 2 first-rounders right now, 2 later first-rounders, which together could get you a Jahmyr Gibbs.
You're on the clock.
We're on the clock. Here we go. All right. Let's go back to our player group. Myers. All right. So let's look at running back. Swift and Pacheco. They're there. Should we do it, Bobby Wow? Should I bite the bullet with Swift? Oh, gross. I'm doing it. This one's for you.
Oh, geez,
I will know.
This is let's grab a wide receiver or tight end here.
How about either Ayuk, Pearsall? We got Warren, Loveland. Don't like that.
Don't like that either.
Ayuk.
What about Diggs in New England? Are you taking a chance on Diggs?
Huh? Yeah.
Are you taking a chance on Diggs with Drake May?
Another name I will not have very much exposure to this year.
No, me neither. It's just becoming a unique team. I kind of like it, honestly.
I like it because
it's not a team I would draft. If I had time and we were sitting here but this is really interesting.
We'll judge it at the end.
You got a high upside team here.
We got to judge this at the end.
Look at those receivers, man. CMC. Oh, you got CMC. Then you got Devontae Adams, Deebo Samuel, Stephon Diggs. Like this is a fun bunch here.
couple of oldies. I mean, we're getting really old at wide receiver. I'm not sure that I want the geriatric club here, or the over 30.
Okay, we're not that old. Come on now. Not that
So
old.
back to this one. No, so I would not do this with the 107. 107 this year, you are getting Trey Henderson or Quinton Judkins. Take those guys, and you'll have a young running back. If you don't feel you're competitive, get rid of Barkley, get 2 first-rounders for him, and build it up for next year. I would not do, or straight up for Bijan. Don't give the first. That's my advice there. Sir Brooks.
I'm trying to get it in that trade. I would do my best to get a pick, even a second or third round pick alongside of Bijan. I think you could.
Yeah.
To me, Barkley is still the top dog.
He is so good. And by the way, any competing team is giving you a couple of players, or like a Garrett Wilson level wide receiver or something like that. And that's the kind of trade I'd be looking to do. Let's take a look at how this draft is progressing here. So yeah, we have the all geriatric team with Swift and Diggs and Debo and Devontae. Christian McCaffrey. Oh my gosh, the injury risk is extreme here with these old guys.
These guys are 30 years old, man. We're talking about geriatric. My Lord.
Listen, I was 30 once.
CMC's 28.
We're continuing on, and you're starting to see
Jacoby Myers. Talking about Jacoby Myers, because he's interesting to me.
The law firm's a solid yeoman-like pick. I like Jacoby. He's not generally going to break anything. Listen, they've improved, I think, at quarterback with Geno Smith.
Like I said, yeah, that's to me, that's what makes him acceptable, because Geno, he slung the ball with Seattle. He was slinging it last season. And I mean, they've got Brock Bowers, obviously. It's phenomenal for Brock, but Myers is the number one guy, is he not? Not wide receiver, at least.
He's their number one guy. They added Besh, who's an interesting rookie who does kind of the same stuff as Myers, but whatevs. And of course, they have really the number one guy is Brock Bowers over there. And I love Brock Bowers. I think Brock Bowers gives you a positional advantage. Tyrone Tracy. No, Soups. No.
Obviously, Genty. Come on. We're not talking about Cammy Scats. He's not starting. Come on.
Igbuka, I love the pick. Obviously, Soups has been with us on every one of these best ball streams, and he knows.
Can you sell me on Igbuka, please?
Yeah.
Because we have Chris Godwin coming back. Look, I know he's hurt. He's coming back. We've got Mike Evans, who just for whatever reason seems to keep producing. We've got McMillan, who was a stud toward the end of last season. Now Igbuka's going to come in, and he's going to be a beast with all these guys.
All right, let me sell you on that. And here's my counterpoint. Godwin coming off of a horrific knee injury. We don't know what kind of condition he's going to be in. Older guys don't recover from the ACL as fast as the young player, right? A few weeks, Q tags all over the place. Hamstring injury because of the Q tag, the knee. Mike Evans, 32 years old, perpetual Q tag all of last year. Always seems to be hurt, going down, grabbing the knee. These guys are so sketchy. Do you really feel that we're going to get 16, 17 games out of Evans or Godwin? Godwin coming off the horrific knee injury. Evans, at this point, he's a grandfather. He's got grandchildren. That's how old he is. He's got grandkids.
I'll buy that. But still, if you're conceding that you're banking on an injury or two for Igbuka to do something, sure. Okay, fine. But look, he's the way I see it, I mean, he's the WR4 right now, is he not?
No, because McMillan's not going to be ahead of him. They don't take a guy in the first round to sit him behind like your fourth round guy that showed some life last year when you no one else. I don't believe that. Wait, let's take a look at our team here real quick. And all right, so we are just 3 running backs, 4 wide receivers, 0 tight end, 1 quarterback at the moment. So I just wanted to update us so we're paying attention. But no, they're not going to play McMillan ahead of him.
I think you're on the clock here, Geek.
Okay, we're on the clock. Here we go. All right, so there's another running back I do like to take. And did he go? Oh, man. I was going to take they took him. Oh, my gosh. All right, quick pivot. How about Trey Harris from the Chargers to go along with Ladd McConkey?
I know you don't like Pittman. I like Pittman a lot.
Oh, do you? No, I took Trey because now I can get Herbert later on and stack, and we'll have a full Charger stack going here because we got
I
Ladd
love it.
McConkey here.
I like that.
So just for stacking purposes, all right, I need a tight end. I need a running back. Running back looks terrible. Oh my gosh.
No, don't go that far down.
Yeah, this is bad. So,
No,
all right, we'll go tight end here.
Go Njoku.
Wait, who'd you like? Pittman? All right, Pittman. Fine. Pittman. Another guy I don't have any exposure to. Mikey
is it
Pitters.
because of Anthony Richardson, or is it because of Josh Downs, or is it because you just think Pittman stinks and his back is never going to be healthy?
I think that the Colts are terrible. They have no quarterback at all. And they have 3 guys that all together combined for nothing at quarterback. And they cannot pass the ball. And but when they are throwing it, Downs, I believe, might be the WR1. And Alec Pierce is in there. Pittman's just the guy.
No, stop it.
Yeah, just the guy.
Alec Pierce. Alec Pierce is so far below Pittman this season. Come on.
Pittman might be. So I'm going to I have some sleepers floating around here that might, you know what, if I talk about them, Soups and Bob are going to take them. But
we're early for sleepers. We're too early here.
Yeah, it's a little soon. We're not going to talk too much about that just yet. But
you got to put a star. You got to put a star on Herbert before I forget.
Yeah, let's star up Herbert. No one really takes Herbert all that early. So
geez, there he is. He's coming.
Oh shit. Oh boy. All right, so we will pay attention to Herbert here.
We're in trouble here.
Soups is going to take him just to burn us. So where was I? Yeah, so back to my argument for Igbuga. I just think, hey, it reminds me of situations I've seen in the past. It reminds me of CeeDee Lamb year 1. It's like, who's going to throw to Lamb? They got all these other Amari Cooper's there and this and that, and he was just awesome because he's awesome and he's a first round pick. He's a talented guy, has all of the qualities that you want in a wide receiver. And I think he can break out early. And I think we will see an injury to one of Godwin or Evans that just opens up the door. I feel confident in it. So that's I'm drafting him quite a bit. I'm looking at teams, right? Like, what is their situation? We need a tight end on this team, by the way. What is their situation? Do they have a terrible quarterback? That's the issue with Pittman. I know Pittman's had good games with Flacco. If Flacco was going to be on the Colts, give me some Pittman, no?
I feel like Pittman showed up a little bit with Richardson as well. He was the one guy. He was the one wide receiver that Richardson seemed to throw to. But I might be
either way. By the way, I don't mind it here. Like he's our 3rd bench wide receiver. Like that's great. He'll be putting up points for us. We have 6 wide receivers, 0 tight ends, 1 quarterback, 3 running backs. So we now have to kind of pivot a little bit and focus on tight end and running back in the next round. How do you feel about Basil Tootin from the Jaguars?
I'm not a huge fan. Not a huge fan. I'm interested. Tajay Spears is interesting to me right here. We've got Garendo as the cuff.
I think we
go to tight end.
Yeah, let's take a look at tight end.
Grab Garendo if you want, but I do like Goddard.
Goddard?
I like Goddard. I do.
All right, we'll take Goddard here. Ertz was interesting because he is tied to one of our quarterbacks, but let's see, running back here. I think we can wait another round for running back. Let's see, QB. No, wait. Oh, he's gone. All right. You know what? How about a little bit of Hollywood Brown? I mean, I'm gonna grab Hollywood. I actually went with another wide receiver, big upside. So here's my thought with Hollywood. I can't believe I just did that. But my thought with Hollywood is very simple. This is best ball. He's going to have pop games. And he'll get me 24 times this year, maybe 5. If he's healthy. The team likes him. And I got him 5 rounds after everybody took Rice and Worthy.
Yeah, I don't hate it. Again, I think you're looking for upside wide receivers. That is how you're going to take this thing down. And I think Hunter Brown is one of them. Hollywood, if he could just stay on the dang field, man. Hollywood Brown, sorry.
I don't hate it. I mean, yeah, our team is old. I guess we're staying with our old theme. Hollywood's kind of old too. Like our over 27. This is the Gen X team all day. This is NFL Gen X players.
I don't know if I like it because I'm intrigued by the upside, which I am, or if it's just such a breath of fresh air from Dynasty, where I'm always looking young, and passing these names up.
Yeah, I know. Isn't it interesting? Isn't it different? Feels bad. Feels wrong. All right. So a couple of names at tight end that I still like that are floating around. Ertz has been fine. Gesicki, very good if he's still there. Solid guy. You got the Jets guy in Taylor here. Brenton Strange hanging around. And then there are tight ends all the way to the end. Like all the way to the end.
Tight end, I'm not worried about tight end.
Yeah.
Plus, we've got our diamond in the rough, Cole Kmet, waiting in case of emergency.
I will say this though, because we waited so long on this team for Goddard, and Goddard is pretty mid as a tight end. I definitely want at least 3, and I don't mind having 4 tight ends on a team with such a, where we waited so long to draft one. I think at running back, we are going to really hope that Garendo is still there. And oh my God, did one of these guys take him just to screw us? Yeah. This is why you can't draft with Soups in the fucking draft. You can't have Soups in here. You can't. Like, he's just doing it. You're literally spitting names and he's drafting them in real time. Like, you can't. Come on, Soups. What are you doing? Killing me, bro. He's just actively what do you call it? He's actively trolling us in this
Soups
draft.
sounds like it needs to be like a character in a show. Like, for some reason it reminds me of Beans from that one
Soup.
Disney show. I don't know. Soups.
Beans
is like, what was it, like That's So Raven maybe? No, what was it? I don't know.
I was just watching Goodfellas. Okay, from the early 90s. I was watching Goodfellas, and there's a scene where Ray Liotta walks into like the Copacabana Club or something, and he's introducing Lorraine Bracco to all of his buddies, and he's like, "Then hey, this is Jimmy Beans, this is Johnny Soup, and this is Jimmy 2 times. Got to get the papers. All that whole scene." And I was just enjoying it, and I had forgotten. Of course I remember Jimmy 2 times, but there was one like it. This is Joey Beans. This is Joey No Nose. Like the nicknames were great.
That's so good.
Really awesome. Let's see here. Let's take a look at who some of our players are and see if, Soups is basically actively just taking all of our stacks and our players. So
another thing to consider here, you're going to want a quarterback at some point here.
Oh, yeah. We
need a second
QB
quarterback. Stafford's worth a look with Devontae Adams. You've also got, I know you don't like him, but Anthony Richardson. Talk about a guy that could pop, a couple weeks out of the season when Jaden Daniels doesn't. We've got Michael Pittman there. He's an interesting look.
Still great wide receivers on the board here, by the way, and the running backs have run out. Like, the running back is gross. So let's go for, Richardson. You know what? YOLO. We'll back him up with Danny Jones later on. Until Soups.
You're looking at upside, right? Yeah, I like it. And then you said tight end. We want to take a look at tight end, right? Tight end.
Yeah, I think we got to get another. Oh, there we go. I'm just going for it. Okay. Gesicki, let's go. Easy. I like Gesicki.
Another tight end I have my eye on, and again, we could get him later. I think. I've laughed at his name every time it's come up the last probably year and a half, but with Cam Ward, I think Chig is more intriguing than ever. He's still really young. He flashed some legitimate potential toward the end of last season, and you could get him in like the last rounds. So Chig is a guy that could be worth a late grab if we're looking for another tight end.
And Mr. Grapefruit makes a really good point here that I would emphasize. One of the fun things about doing these on DraftKings is, like, if you're on Underdog is super sharp. Like the field is, best ball mania. It's called best ball mania, but they're all best ball maniacs who are drafting there right now. And I think that DraftKings has a softer field of players, softer ADPs, and you sometimes have players that are dropping a little bit that might be really good, getting weirdly out of place. Cedric Tillman, he mentioned. I think that guy might still be available. So I do find DraftKings really interesting. Right here, take a look at this top group of wide receiver. This is, for me, Bobby Wow, this is my end group at the wide receiver position. It's right here. This is where I kind of think it falls off outside of like the Roman Wilson stuff, some of these crazy sleepers that are going to fall. This group here is kind of, oh, there we go. Of course, Soups grabs Wandale, one of my primary guys as well. And, but this is sort of the end of the guys who are going to be scoring for you most weeks. And you get into this zone of players that really aren't on the field, or you might not play, or you just have to get super lucky with. So let's see. We are in round
13,
round 15. And so
15.
From here on, you're pretty much not seeing too much good at wide receiver.
And I think that's okay for us. That's part of why I love that, we kind of smash wide receiver hard in the mid rounds. I mean, how many we got? We got 7. You probably only drafting one more wide receiver here. So
only really need one more.
To me, I'm going biggest boom potential, even if it's someone who's not, like I saw Christian Watson's name pop up. I know we hate him. He to me is more interesting than a guy like Josh Palmer or Yoshivas, who, maybe those guys could score 10, 12 points, more consistently than Watson can. But, if Watson came back healthy miraculously, he could put up some numbers. Or even one of these rookie wide receivers from the draft, like, Pat Bryant's a guy I have my eye on in Denver. If we're looking for a sleeper wide receiver, he came out of Illinois. He was an absolute phenom. He was a beast. Caught every ball that was thrown to him. Is probably the best wide receiver I've seen at Illinois, which isn't saying a whole lot. But the interesting thing about him is you got Sean Payton, who is also from Illinois, and he likes his wide receivers. He went up to get Pat Bryant, drafted him too early, I think, but he went to get him, and that's kind of a wide open room. There's a lot of young guys with talent in Denver. He's one of them.
I have a crazy theory, Bobby Wow.
Oh God. Oh man, here we go.
What if Taysom Hill is the starting quarterback for the Saints?
You have to. Yeah.
Tay. What's up? You know what? Somewhere DFS up north is oh, what are you doing? He's
hunched over. All right, you got to make another pick here though.
I need another running back or a quarterback here. We have 2 quarterbacks, 3 wide receivers. I really need another running back.
What about Jerome Ford?
No, they drafted 2 guys. Fuck Ford. I'm taking Hunt. Who knows?
Man,
who knows?
I see. I think we're making the same mistake with Ford here. Ford is.
You think so?
I don't know. We'll see. It's going to be Judkins, but again, like you said, it doesn't really matter in Cleveland. They're so bad.
Mr. Grapefruit just pulled a name out of Ty Felton. Who the heck is Ty Felton? Was he a rookie this year? Why don't I know who that name is?
Yeah. He was. I think he was drafted.
Must have been drafted late.
I want to say 4th round. I don't know for sure.
Yeah, he's not even on the Dynasty radar. So I'm like, who's this Ty Felton? Maybe I need to go pick him up in some Dynasty leagues. Got to do a little research on that one.
I have zero faith in JJ Mac Jonesy. So I don't know. I'm
really
not very high on that. Really. Yeah.
Why would they let everybody go and sort of you don't think you just don't think he's going to be good?
What do we see? Look, he ran a very
Did you call him JJ Mac Jonesy?
Yes, that's who he is to me.
Mac Jones 2.0?
JJ, I don't know, maybe 0.5. Who knows?
Wow. That was unexpected.
He's a game manager. He's a good guy, good leader, but man, I haven't seen it with the arm. I don't see it yet. I don't think we saw it at Michigan. But
I mean, I don't know. Like I said, Michigan college. How does it translate? Could be Brock Osweiler.
Oh boy,
that's rough. Could be anything. Could be anything. I think it's interesting that they let, why would they let Sam Darnold go? They could have kept him around. I don't think Sam Darnold's that good.
He stinks.
Yeah, I don't think he's like, but I think with JJ McCarthy, I think, there's risk when people are taking Justin Jefferson like pick 3, and he has a rookie quarterback. And Addison has been improving lately, and there's a really good tight end on that team also. There's some stuff going on there that says, hey, you know, maybe this isn't that. Justin Jefferson's got it done with everybody who he's ever played with, so maybe it doesn't matter. But what if it does matter?
I mean, JJ last season was sketchy for JJ in terms of ceiling. You know, again, he was still a productive wide receiver, so I guess I shouldn't say sketchy. But
Calvin Austin still hanging around, potential for later. I'm not in love with our running back group at all. Oh, you know who I forgot about? And I'm sure he's gone now. Let's see. Jalen Wright. Yep. And Soup's got him. So I did forget about Jalen Wright. I do like Jalen Wright quite a bit as well this year.
I love that you just kind of looked at the 2 DFS Army guys knowing
that they've been watching these streams. But I love it because these guys are watching these streams, and like I feel like do that. That's what we're here for. I can't win them all.
Yes.
Let somebody else win this thing. Yeah. If I'm right, which who knows? So Danny Jones goes off the board. Who are you, sir? Maddie, is this person here? No one takes Daniel Jones does not get drafted. What is going on here? What? That was wild. That was unexpected.
Respect.
So now we need another quarterback as my potential handcuff for Richardson is gone. So we'll be getting another quarterback here soon.
You should just pick up. You should just take Mariota.
I am definitely not taking Mariota. Hell no. Even if Daniels gets injured, I don't want this guy leading my team. That's not how you win. But I will take Dart from the Giants in my assumption that he will be starting later in the season. Blake Corum could be an interesting pick here to get one more running back on the squad. Yeah, with not much else going on elsewhere, I'm going to take Blake Corum and give me the upside in case Kyren Williams gets hurt. He doesn't do anything if Kyren Williams is healthy, but an injury to Kyren Williams and Blake Corum becomes an RB1, maybe?
Yeah, maybe. I don't hate the handcuff.
Right.
Let's see.
Let's scan our position groups here. We've got 2 picks left, Bobby Wow.
I definitely want to grab another wide receiver, at least one more.
We can get one of these Pittsburgh guys. Coker is hanging around. That's a guy that will get target. Will be on the field. Let's see. Lockett on God. Tennessee. I don't know about him. No?
No.
There's nothing else that's going to even be on the field beyond here. This is what I'm saying. These are players that really don't play.
Pat Bryant, is he on there a little bit lower?
Who's that?
Oh no, he's too low. Watson, I think, is interesting. Like he's a guy as your WR9, you know, that I would throw a dart at. Because what if he comes back in halfway through the season and he's healthy and he looks like he should have looked?
I just hate him so much. I have like a visceral hatred for that guy.
I hate him.
I really do. Tight end position. Again, still Cole Kmet is a name that's on the edge.
I told you.
Theo Johnson, Cole Kmet, but like Tyler Higbee gets targets. Can add a 4th tight end. I normally don't like to do 4, but maybe I think in this circumstance, we're going to get probably at least another wide receiver. These running backs are just trashola. There's nothing here. Miles Sanders? No. So there's nothing there. So if we're going to get productive players for the last couple of picks, it's probably going to be a tight end.
Tight end wide receiver.
Yeah. Coker? Calvin Austin, your guy?
I wouldn't say he's my guy, but he is the WR2. If Rodgers comes in, I think Calvin Austin is definitely intriguing. Yeah. Of all those guys on that list, he stands out above the rest.
What if I take Austin and Roman Wilson and just lock it down? No one will have these guys. I still think you
grab one more. I would say a tight end and wide receiver. If you want Wilson over Austin, do it. But I would say make sure you get a tight end too.
All right, I'm going to do Austin because I trust in Bobby Wow for this draft.
At least he has an ADP.
Yeah, at least like Roman Wilson really is off the radar. Although that could change. That could change. If you hear word out of Pittsburgh that we really like Roman Wilson, I'm telling you that will change, and then all of a sudden he's going around like 12 or 14.
It will change. Yeah,
things change on a dime.
Oh man, someone just took him.
What? Who did this?
Austin.
I'm telling you, this guy's in this. He is in here. There's no way now with Daniel Jones and now this. He's got to be in this. And Aaron Rodgers too.
All right, we're on the clock.
All right, let's see what we got. Last couple picks here. Tight end, we have Cole Kmet. You want to go with your crazy Cole Kmet, Cole?
Yes, I do.
All right,
of all those guys, absolutely, I do. Not even.
And I'm going to go with my crazy guy, Roman.
What a weird.
Or as we call him,
he did have an ADP. Look at that.
We just raised his ADP by that one pick. As we call him in Brazil, Roman Wilson. In Brazil, they call him that. All right.
In Brazil, yes.
The Brazilians, Roman Wilson.
Yes.
All right, let's take a look at our draft. And we have a couple of drafters here in the chat with us, so we can evaluate a few different drafts here, Bobby. Wow. You ready?
Oh, that's a riot. Yes.
Yeah. We got Soups in here. Bob We Trust. Is that Josiah?
If I had to guess, it's a middle-aged woman
and
who
Bob
is
We
a
Trust?
fan of Josiah because she trusts.
Is that what's her name? What's his fan? It's not you, Josiah? Okay. So it's a fan of Josiah. And then, of course, I suspect that Maddie Linaw, this person, may be participating here in the stream as well. I don't know, but let's take a look here.
Razzles Burner, Maddie Linaw.
No, Doris. That's and Bob We Must is actually Doris. She's in she's in the Friday show with all of us. She's a commenter on the Friday show.
Okay, one thing I want to ask you before we dive into the recap here. What are your thoughts on QB from the draft after Ward? Who of the quarterbacks that were taken after Cam Ward, which one is the most likely to see some starting time and actually have some success in the NFL?
Listen, obviously,
like, do you think Jalen Milroe is that guy? Do you think Shador is that guy?
No,
if you had to take one.
No, it's Dart. I think Dart is going to be starting 6 or 7 games into the season. Listen, the Giants are a terrible team, and Russell Wilson is not a quarterback that's going to make a bad team good. He can exist on the Steelers and manage the team. I don't think the Giants are going to be looking good at all with Russell Wilson. So what I think is going to happen is, listen, Daboll and that coaching staff, if they have another terrible year and they don't give the fans hope, they're gone. So just for the coaching staff to stay on that team as coaches, they will have to shift off of Russell Wilson and put Dart in there. And Dart has a little bit of that, I'm not going to say Josh Allen, but he has a little bit of that. He has that mobility ability, not a running quarterback exclusively, but he's got the mobility in him, like call it the Mahomes level kind of scramble ability that can produce quality fantasy production. So I think Dart is one guy we will see. I don't think we'll see Milroe starting this year, but I don't see why not. And the flip side is, if things go badly in Seattle, we could see Milroe getting some starts. So Milroe has the best upside if he does start.
Okay, that's interesting because I like what you're saying about Dart. Interesting about Milroe. I felt that way too.
And then I think the guy who is actually now stated to be a starter that no one's paying attention to is Tyler Shough, who the Saints drafted, and that appears to be their starting quarterback. Like, I don't know who they're rolling with. I think they're rolling with their second round guy. He's
either
old
that
as
or
hell,
you're taking
too.
down this best ball tourney with Tay as your quarterback. One of those two.
That's how you win the tournament. If Taysom Hill, if somebody was like, you know what, Taysom, let's just do this, right? Let's just do it. Get in there. That would be the greatest thing. All fantasy football would be turned on its head. Everybody who took Taysom Hill as a tight end is rolling him in the TE spot, extra quarterback. Taysom Hill has helped me win best ball dynasty leagues for the last 5 or 6 years. Like, he's been doing it for me. You don't have to choose. He just shows up in the tight end spot on those games where he pops for 20.
Yeah.
I don't have to choose. I love that.
I do love that.
So let's take a look at our team here, Bobby Wow. We did a little bit of stacking. We got a little correlation going. But we started off with, and we went old with this team. McCaffrey, old, and then Ladd McConkey, the young buck. Remember, this is a PPR, and he's a PPR guy. DraftKings full PPR format.
Yep.
The next round, I think we got a bargain price on Davante Adams at the end of round 3. Like, he normally doesn't last that long. I was really going for James Cook, but got snaked right before that pick. So Davante, fine by me. He's got all the Cooper Kupp upside without the injury history. Like that?
Yeah. I like it a lot.
Matt Stafford, more than enough arm to deliver to 2 guys. So Puka still smash, but Adams could be there taking care of business. And of course, we get our stud young quarterback, Jaden Daniels. Don't need anyone else, but we took other people. Didn't need them, but we took them. Right? Comes back around. Debo Samuel. So this is like Bobby Wow special. I don't have any shares of Debo, but we did stack him with Jaden Daniels. Listen, my reason for not having Debo, and I'll tell you, is primarily because it looked like to me that he was washed last year. Like, why was he so terrible last year, Bobby Wow?
I mean, the 49ers were terrible in general. It felt like their quarterback play was very subpar.
Could be that.
And Debo was hurt a little bit. I think it's fair to doubt him, but I really love that he was there in our lap after we had drafted Jaden Daniels. I think getting him where we did, his upside is there.
I like it. It's super unique.
I think
also,
it could be an X factor. Yeah.
Yeah. So having that stack in there, fine by me. Most people are going to have Jaden to Terry McMillan as their TMC as their primary stack. So fine. Next round, we needed running backs. We're light on the running back group. A little sketchy, but we went with Trey Henderson and Devontae Swift. I had guys being snaked out from under me all throughout this draft. That is part of the consequence of drafting against people who have seen a few of my other drafts and kind of have an idea, of some of my sneaky guys. I will tell you that, like, for example, Javonte Williams is somebody I've been getting in all of my drafts, primarily because no one seems to like him, but why not? He's the starting running back for the Cowboys. Like, another year.
I'm there too, and I'm ready to get hurt with Javonte again. So I'm right there with you.
I'm taking him. Here we go. Oh, more questions from Sir Brooks. Jets guy.
Go Jets.
Would you rather Garrett Wilson? Oh, another dynasty question. Here we go. Would you rather have Garrett Wilson and 1.07 plus Tyreek? Ooh, this is a lot. Or CD and Jonathan Taylor?
Oh my God.
Single QB, 2 wide receiver. Gives me Barkley, JT, and CD plus Amon. I mean, first of all, let's just look at this. You got to break it down by names, right? Garrett Wilson, 107, which is Quinshon Judkins / it's basically Quinshon Judkins, okay running back, plus Tyreek, or CD and Jonathan Taylor. Man, I'm going with CD and Jonathan Taylor here. I think CD is worth Wilson and Taylor and Tyreek combined.
Especially knowing you've got Barkley as your RB1.
Yeah.
You lock in your RB1 and RB2. It's set and forget with those 2 guys.
Yeah. See, for Sir Brooks, I like this approach. I think what you should be doing is exactly this. You have awesome players. Amon-Ra already on your team. CD's not on that team, but man, if you can get CD somehow, amazing. And you already have Barkley. I think this is a team where you, instead of kind of looking at it like, hey, let me get young, I say compete. Compete now. Get CD Lamb on that team. CD Lamb's a monster. Jonathan Taylor's okay. He's fine. He's not anybody I'm going crazy for, but he's fine.
Good, man. He's
a good player. Doesn't have too age on. He's not my, Tyreek Hill, very questionable. Don't know what's going on.
Jonathan Taylor might be back. We saw what
sucks,
JT could
wow.
be toward the end of last season. I don't know, man.
Bad team. It's a bad team.
Did you see what he was doing to end the season?
He looked great, but it's a bad team. I don't know how many times. This is like one of those things that I need to fucking drill in everybody's head. When the team sucks, the running backs don't produce. They never get you the big games. They just don't.
Except JT last year.
He had a couple good games, but no, he wasn't. Hold on. Because I'm going to show you this. He had some good games, but it wasn't consistent. Maybe I'm wrong. Let's see. Yeah, monster games at the end of the year. We have these great memories of these smash games. Okay.
He got a little banged up in the middle of the season, but he was pretty good. Very good to start the year. Yeah. Had a rut and then excellent finish.
You know what the rut came? I feel like
was it Anthony Richardson? See that's
when Richardson was playing, it just got worse.
Right. That's the thing. That could be it.
Yeah, like didn't they have Flacco coming in for a lot of these games?
Flacco was he's starting at the end. Yeah, so it could be
these good games were with Flacco. But I don't know, what were they?
No, Richardson was that 3 touchdown game.
Could be good. I mean, Jonathan Taylor's an incredible talent, so he's a great player. I don't have a problem. I actually like this trade.
Set and forget your running backs. Plus, CD is on par with Garrett Wilson, if not better, maybe to me.
No, he's better. CD is definitely better than Garrett Wilson.
And Tyreek, he wasn't even a starter last year for most of the game. Like you couldn't even start him. So he's a big question mark. I love the CD and JT piece of that.
Yeah, that's what I think. That's a dynasty winning team right there. So and by the way, you can replace a Quinshon Judkins style player this year on.
He's got Dak. He's got Dak on the team too.
Oh, and Kittle. Yeah.
The Dak stack with CD. Yes, it's sold.
Yeah. This is a dynasty winner right here. I mean, Dak is okay, but like as a dynasty QB, but like it's good enough. And George Kittle, I think, has an up season this year. So yeah, I would play to win, not be looking to get rid of Barkley. Add to him, get CeeDee Lamb on your team. That is crazy. CeeDee Lamb's worth 30 points a game. And actually, he does obviously correlate incredibly well with Dak. So bonus. I like it. I see a dynasty winner there, Sir Brooks. That is awesome. So, all right, back to the draft, and we'll take a look at some of these other, our other Army guys drafts in a second. But to finish ours out, we continue the theme of old wide receivers after a couple of, Trey Henderson, young running back, DeAndre Swift, volume guy, maybe some upside. I think we're going to have some trouble at running back this year, though, on this team if things don't fall our way. We need Trey Henderson to kind of like take over the job from Ramondre. Forgot about Trey.
Certainly possible.
I didn't forget about Trey, Bobby Wow. I still remember it. But we go with old digs, fine. Trey Harris, upside rookie. Michael Pittman, Bobby Wow, special, but pairs up nicely with our quarterback, which is also cool. So we're getting correlation all over the place here. Some softness at the tight end group with Goddard, Gesicki, and Taysom. I'm a little concerned about that. We added Cole Kmet late. Still concerned about it. Even all four, not sure we have enough to produce one good tight end. That's going to be a little trouble. Gesicki, I think, is going to be the saving grace for that group.
Maybe.
Hollywood Brown, upside wide receiver. Of course, we've got a big upside, massive downside quarterback in A-Rich. And we try to, lay and pray on some late round running backs and hope that some miracle happens and they become productive for us. So I don't mind the team. I think it looks pretty good. Let's take a look at our compatriots here. Soups here in the draft. I'm not him. I'm one of his buddies, but Bob We Must is one of our hockey coaches.
Wow, what a twist.
All right. And Bob We Must, where are you? Let me know who you are in the comments section below. But let's take a look at these two. Let's take a look at these. Could be. All right. And Bob We Must. Jamar Chase. So Soup starts out with the obvious pick of Jamar Chase. Bobby Wow. Yep. Of course. Josh Allen, Chase Brown. Love the Chase Brown pick, as you know. loves it.
Joey B
DK
would have looked so
Metcalf,
good
and
on
then,
that team.
I mean, this is a lot of upside, guys. I like this draft for Soups a lot, obviously. A lot of upside here. DK Metcalf and Jamo Williams. He's jamming. Mo Reezy. Yeah, bro. Trust me, we wanted to. We had Garendo start off, and unfortunately, some of the people that were in this chat were aware of that and took him a little bit early. We are aware. Metcalf and Jamo Williams. I love these. These are upside wide receivers, Bobby Wow. They're both fine. They're not going to always get you 12 receptions a game. And especially DK Metcalf, if Rodgers gets there and he's Devontae Adams 2.0, that could be awesome. K-Shack, kind of the same. Paired up with
his quarterback, Josh.
Yeah, with quarterback, Josh Allen. Janu Smith, I like. Tyrone Tracy, hate that pick. That's a miss right there. You don't take Tyrone. You don't call Tyrone when Scadaboo's there. They're not going to call Tyrone. Tyrone's going to be on the field, though, but he's going to be splitting those touches with Scadaboo. I don't like
Scadaboo is going to scadabust.
You
I'm
think
not
so?
a fan.
Based on the name? I feel like you're a watcher of college football and you develop opinions about the players.
Yeah, I don't watch enough to. Yeah, I watch a little bit, yeah, but not enough.
Couple more notes on this particular draft, though. Some other players I love. Love Mims Jr. He's in all my other teams. This is my first draft without Mims Jr. Rising player. I've been able to get him again. You know, if you're watching these streams, you already know. I've been able to get him super late. People forgot that Mims came on crazy strong at the end of the year, and he's really not competing with anybody else. Look at these monster games, ascending offense. I like second-year players coming off of ascension.
It's wide
looking
open,
better late in the season, right?
Cortland Sutton's old. He's the number one guy, but Mims really he has the handle on. I think WR2 easy.
Garendo, obviously massive upside if McCaffrey gets hurt. I love him here. Probably we needed to take him, I guess, there. I thought he'd come around to us here, and that was kind of a miss for us on our side here. Bryce Young, fine, look good late. Jalen Wright, going to be starting for Miami. Love that pick, super late as well. So really solid overall draft
for Miami. What?
Yeah. Yes.
What do you mean, yes?
They didn't start. Mostert and Achane split last year. Achane did all the work, but Mostert was on the field every single game and was many times the starter in those games, would get the same number of touches as Achane. Achane was just getting crazy with him, right? Now, Mostert is gone. If you think that they're going to give 180-pound Devon Achane all of the touches, that is just, I can't see it. How he's too small. He's not. Achane is 188 pounds. For reference, I'm 188 pounds.
Yeah, and Donald Trump and DK Metcalf have the same, weight and height too. Okay, so let's.
You saw that? Bob, we must. DFS Army hockey coach here starts with Barkley, Kyron Williams, Bucky Irving. I mean, it's a great outside of reaching on Kyron here a little bit. Is a really good start. Should have taken Chase Brown there instead, in my opinion. Reach is early for Harvey, but I think Harvey is going to be in the 5th round as an ADP in a couple of months.
You're high on him. Harvey. You're high on the Chargers guy too, right?
Oh, that's Sean. Okay, Hampton. That is Sean Hoy. Okay, nice. So, Bob, we must. There we go. So, we have figured it out. Sean, I've been talking to Sean in the DMs about like best ball stuff. So here he is. Nice. So RJ Harvey, I think is a little soon on Harvey. Later on, I like this. I like the double tap. Juwan Jennings, great. If Juwan Jennings, reassumes his role of WR1, he's going to be an absolute crush. Smash at
JJ
this,
squared. Look at that. Jerry Judy, Juwan Jennings. Man, that is
pretty solid overall. I mean, you got 4 solid running backs here. Really a bunch of solid wide receivers with a lot of upside. Even Jaden Reed there. Couple of quarterbacks here to round it off. 3 quarterbacks late. I like taking quarterbacks that late. And of course, Wan'Dale Robinson, Bobby Wow. This is my
gift that keeps on giving and PPR.
Yeah. This is a cheat code for best ball this year. Remember Deontay Johnson was the cheat code a couple of years ago? Yep. Wan'Dale Robinson is the cheat code.
Interesting.
Look at all these targets. Look at them.
Yeah.
11, 12, 11, 9. 9, 11, 14, 12.
Crazy.
You know how many double-digit target games you're getting from a guy who you just picked up in round 16? Does he put up monster numbers with all those targets? No. But on that week where you needed somebody getting you 12, 14 points at the wide receiver group just to fill in, get him in there. I don't want a 0. Give me a yeoman-like score. That's not a bad thing to get late in these drafts. Make sure you don't have those weeks where you're getting 2s, 1s, and 0s because you took all these upside guys late and you got no Jacoby Myers style, lunch pail veterans who are going to get a bunch of targets and just get you that 12-point, lunch pail score.
Yep. I love it.
I need the blue collar player. I need to call. I have. Can I coin this phrase? Do other people use this? Blue collar players.
I can't say that I've heard it before. No, it's yours.
They bring the wife packs a lunch. You know what I'm saying? They got that metal thing.
Oh, that's
got
great.
The thermos. Got the thermos.
Oh man, the thermos, the piping hot chicken noodle.
Yeah,
in there.
A little bit of that in the thermos. Just show up to work with their lunch pails and they just, do the job. You need somebody doing the job. That's
the
what
LPPs,
does.
The lunch pail players.
Yeah. Blue collar guys. They're not fancy. It's like Guitar George. He knows all the chords, but he's strictly rhythm. He doesn't want to make a scene. Please tell me you know that reference. Oh, fuck. It was so good, George. The reference. It was so good.
It sounds really, I don't even know him, and it was good to me.
Oh, the reference is so good. Guitar George. He knows all the chords.
I don't know what that is. Is that like some YouTube guy?
Come on, chat. It's not. No, it's so classic. It's so classic. You should have known it. It's Dire Straits, Sultans of Swing.
Oh,
you know Dire.
To knock on myself.
You should have known that one. I'm disappointed.
I was stuck. I was because look at Pat Bryant's up here, going in the 15th round here, right before you drafted Tay. I was like, whoa, that's the earliest I've ever seen him go.
Wait, Pat Bryant? Wait, who the hell
before
is Pat Bryant? Wait, what?
He's the guy from Denver. I was telling you about.
Oh, wait, let's talk about this. Pat Bryant. So 3rd round. Okay, wait a second. This is another name that I need to familiarize myself with on Dynasty.
This is a sleeper you're going to want on your team. I drafted him in our staff league, Dynasty.
Oh, okay. What, round 4?
3rd round.
3rd round. Okay, so 3rd round wide receiver.
The second last.
Coach Sean Payton has the time when it comes to wide receiver prospects. 6'2", 200 pounds. Slow, but very productive.
He's a
lots
specimen.
of touchdowns. Okay. Pat Bryant. Another.
If Kelvin Benjamin was athletic, that's who that would be.
An athletic Kelvin Benjamin?
Yeah.
Yeah, like a giant, slow, but slightly
not
more.
So, but he's really not. Slow is crazy. It's crazy to say slow for him.
I think Kelvin was
my favorite quote of all time was Booger McFarland saying that Kelvin Benjamin was like a Popeye's biscuit short of a Happy Meal or something like that. I forget what he said.
Oh man, if the Panthers were some of the worst drafters. Right after the Kelvin Benjamin pick, they took another tight end wide receiver hybrid that also completely failed. I can't even remember that guy's name, but it started with an F, the last name, but they did it 2 years in a row, and they were just because they like somebody in the coaching staff was like, listen, Cam cannot throw it to short wide receivers. We need these towering guys because Cam throws it too high all the time. So they just had this idea that they were going to just draft a bunch of giants. But the problem was Cam was aiming a little higher and he was throwing it over their heads too.
Right. Yeah.
Like, no matter how tall the guy was, Cam knew how to overthrow. Yeah. Devin
Funchess.
Funchess. There it is. Yeah. Devin Funchess.
Look, what was Kelvin Benjamin was a Popeye's biscuit short of a tight end.
Yeah. There we go. They were both a Popeye. By the way, speaking of Popeyes, I'm a big Popeyes guy, but I have to stop. I'm cutting it off.
Really?
You ever eat Popeyes?
I've never been a fan.
It feels like it's poisoning your feels like you're taking poison into your arteries when you eat it. Like those chicken sandwiches.
I made the mistake of walking into one of the restaurants once, and it's just like the one that is closer to us is just not maintained. It's just like
Bobby,
gross.
wow.
It's like KFC. It's kind of
All
just
right.
like
Promise me one thing. You know I care about you. I
yes,
care
I
about
do.
you
I do
deeply.
know that. Yep.
Never walk into a Popeyes in Chicago. You trying to get murdered? What are you, nuts? You walked into a Popeyes? That's where people get killed. Have you watched videos? There's always a fight at the Popeyes in Chicago. Like, that is the last place I'm walking into. Don't go in there. You'll get murdered.
That's good advice.
Yeah, no. And gas stations, man. Stay away after 10 p.m. If it's dark out, just go home. No gas station.
If it's dark out, leave the car. You need gas, you run out of gas, don't go to the station.
Home. But definitely not the Popeyes. And Popeyes is I went to a church's chicken for the first time when I was in Puerto Rico on vacation. It's terrible. It was horrible. Absolutely repulsive. Like, and what it taught me is that these fast food places from like the 80s and the 70s, they haven't adjusted to like modern sensibilities. You got to health up the food a little bit and make it fresher. It's gross.
Yeah, look, it's basic of me. You know, it kind of goes right along with my pumpkin spice latte thing. I still think Chick-fil-A got the best chicken sandwich. If I'm getting chicken and it's fast food, I'm going to Chick-fil-A.
You don't feel bad after eating. You feel like you ate something that almost is healthy.
It's like,
by the way, if you go to, they have a grilled chicken sandwich at Chick-fil-A too. Like, they will grill it for you if you want.
It's good. It's actually not bad. I mean, it's plain. Yeah. It's grilled chicken, but it tastes like if you went and bought fresh chicken and then put it on a grill, unlike anywhere else.
I get the grilled chicken wrap there. It's literally one of my favorite sandwiches that you can have. It's grilled.
It's great.
Chicken wrap. Yeah, it's so good. All right. We're going to wrap it up here. Bobby, wow, that was awesome. I can hang out with you for another hour just shooting the shit. But what I would like instead is for you to be back on with me. We're doing these every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday when I'm around. But every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, we're just drafting teams. Drafting. I'm also working on, for my peoples, I'm working on my official best ball ranking sheet on the DFS Army website, where you'll be able to like use, upload, and whatever. I wanted to get a bunch of drafts in before I actually did that sheet, because you never really know where you want to go with a player until you're on the clock and you have to make the decision, right? And so going through these has, it's helped me make like, the fact that I like Chase Brown ahead of some of these other names that are going ahead of him. I needed to see that a few times before I'm like, all right, all right, I definitely like this guy, because every time I give the choice of Josh Jacobs or Chase Brown, I'm always taking Chase Brown. So like those decisions, doing them in real time is helping me with my rankings. So very cool stuff. Good. Bobby, wow, have you done any ARBing yet? We gave you the Sharp app ARB tool.
I've been dipping my toes in ARB. Man, there's so much stuff with that app. And this is totally me not shilling. It's like, there's so many things as someone who's like relatively newer to the sportsbook world. There's so much stuff to dip my toes in, like, between Proptimizer stuff, ARBing. But yes, I have started dipping my toes in the ARB waters. It's crazy that it's a real thing.
I know, it feels too good to be true when you're doing them. It feels like, it feels like you're stealing money. It feels too good to be true. I've been doing them every day. I've been printing for, like, last night there was only one game, but tonight there's 2 NBA games. I'm going right back to Sharp, grabbing the ARB tool. I'll make $200 tonight just screwing around, grabbing ARBs in real time while watching the game. I don't understand. Get in there. It's like a job.
That's crazy. It is crazy.
It's like a little part-time job where I make $200 a night. It's like, man, I don't even make that in a day. Some people don't make that in a whole day.
That's awesome. I
just make it watching the
$200 is not yet. That's a lot of money.
Yeah, a couple $100, no worries. You can do it lightly. You keep it light. You make $70, 60, 50. Like, it's very good. I want you to get into it. Start printing some cash at night. All right. But that will do it for us this time, guys. I appreciate everybody hanging out. Hit that like button, subscribe, share. Do us that solid. Put the word out if you're enjoying these streams. They're fun. They're entertaining. We're here churning them out daily. I want to produce best ball winners, and we're the only ones doing these DraftKings ones. Everybody else is on Underdog or whatever. So hopefully people appreciate seeing something different. I don't really change my rankings too much between the two sites. Like, I get it, PPR, half point. It doesn't change things too much for me. A little bit, but not too much. Like, maybe I'll be less high on Wandale in a non-PPR format, for example. But outside of that, I don't really change too much. But hopefully these are helpful, and we're going to keep them going all throughout the offseason. We're going to get a ton of drafts down, and then I'll come back in December or January and see if we, an update on what our finishes look like. So
that's be great.
Yeah, should be fun. Bobby, wow, great chatting with you. Thanks to the chat. Thanks to everybody who hung out with us live today, hour and a half stream. What's up? We'll see you guys next time. Take care, everybody.